everyone. So here I have a very small model to represent like a small fictitious college. And basically we just have four entities here, and we're moving towards a physical model. You can see I have attributes and some data types. Maybe I'll just review a little bit about attributes and data types, and then in the next few videos I really want to talk about modeling relationships. There's something extra that you have to do in a physical model. It's no longer enough to just put a relationship line between two entities and call it good. So we'll talk about those in later videos, but let's just recap some of the stuff that we talked about last week. Here, for example, well, we know that every table or every entity, you know, when you're looking at a model, a physical model, every square or every entity that we see on this physical model is eventually going to be a table in your database. Okay, in the physical model we're one step closer to building an actual database, so that's why we're getting very specific with the the data types and various other specifications. So here, for example, I have that int identity data type. Now, in here, I'm using some of what I would call the more serious data types, like we have the varchar and the char, and the date type and money type and so on. You can also use access data types if you plan on building your database in Microsoft Access. There's really nothing wrong. I mean, the access data types are just analogous to these other types of data types that you see in the more serious database management systems like Oracle, SQL Server, and so on, MySQL. And so anyway, this is int identity would be a surrogate key, okay, meaning the database management system is going to handle the numbering or the values for those keys. So here what I did in parentheses, that 100,000 means start the numbering at 100,000. So let's say we want student IDs to be 6 digits, so we're going to start numbering at 100,000 and increment by 1. That's all that means. Here, for the ID card, for example, I'm also doing a surrogate key, but I said start the numbering at 1. Okay, and then increment by 1. So it really depends on what you need, and the business rules dictate that. So then we talked about varchar for variable length strings. I believe in Access you have things like short text and long text, and also splitting up the name. You wouldn't normally put the name like all in one field. You would have first name, last name, and middle name. Same with address, you split that all up. Now, I know that creates a lot of busy work. It creates a very large entity when we're doing our model. So if you want to cut corners and do one column for the name, one column for the address, maybe make it a varchar of 100 or 200, that's fine. But just promise me if you're ever doing this for real that you'll split it up, because that's the way it should be done. And I think that's about it for what I want to review. Now, in the next video, I'm going to talk about relationships, and you'll see that we have one of each in this model. This is a one-to-one. We'll talk about that guy first. The one-to-many, and then the many-to-many. I'm going to save the many-to-many for last because that's the most complicated of all of the relationships. So in the next video, we'll model the one-to-one relationship.